changes to it. But we'll cross over now to Mr. Sam Kagbo, who is also a legal practitioner. He joins us from Abuja. Morning, and thank you for joining us today. Some controversial points that the House of Reps have touched on with respect to the 1999 Constitution, and some of them include the scrapping of, empowering INEC to conduct the local government elections, removal of immunity clause, touching on Section 308, and a number of other recommendations. Haven't seen and heard reactions to all of this. What do you think?
Thank you very much. The Constitution that we have now was given to us by the military. On the eve of their departure, they left with us the Constitution that we have. And over time, out of experience, out of interactions and social, what would I call it, interaction with the Constitution itself, it became very imperative for the present exercise, which is to say, it became necessary for some amendment to be effected. But those amendments must be constitutional and democratic. Democratic in the sense that the people for whom the Constitution is meant to be should be part of it. Unfortunately for us, and that is my own thinking, the National Assembly has gone about it the very same way the military went about the making of the Constitution that they left with us. And which is to say, they just had what they call public hearing, and they went around the states asking for memoranda and thereabout make their own conclusions and return back to the House with the proposals they've had. Yes, I agree that some aspects of the Constitution need to be reviewed, need to be amended, but I don't think those areas that they are happening are the areas that they should stress upon as at this moment. There are some critical areas, like some people have actually said, the security situation of the country is such that some thinking, some critical thinking and rearrangement has to be done to ensure that the structure for the security of the states are well laid out in the Constitution. Yes, the executive and those who are beneficiaries of the immunity clause have abused it, and we've seen some sort of larceny and some sort of disregard for the public because of that immunity clause. But I don't think that should be the purpose of the effort that they are out for. And yes, they will also be having some problem with the need for them to get the local governments to do the job that which they are meant to do, which is let them take democracy and the benefits of democracy to the people. They've tried in some instances to make laws that they felt would make the local government to do so, but the courts have consistently said no, that is the purview of the states, and therefore it is for the State House of Assembly to make those laws. You cannot go beyond the making of laws regarding the allocation of funds to the local government or the constitution of the electorate for the election of those who would constitute the local councils. So my thinking is that they think that this is the right moment for them to come in and amend the constitution to allow them a wider elbow room for them to regulate the local government. But I am in agreement with those who said no, that shouldn't be the case, because if you create a state within a state, that is, you empower the local government, you whittle down and create room for friction between the state and its constituent parts. So my thinking is that they should not really waste time on the local government. Yes, we need the local government to work, but I think we'd get the local government to work through our own action, civil culture, or the awareness of the people that those who constitute those public offices are there for their own behalf and are meant to do that which they are supposed to do. When we have that culture to enforce those particular functions and ensure that those in public office do that which they are supposed to do, we will have local governments to work. No amount of legislation, no amount of constitutional provisions would make the local governments work. without the people making them work. So if you ask me, the areas that I feel need to be amended are areas that would ensure that the dividends of democracy gets to the people. Yes, I am in agreement with them that some aspect of the part 2 or section 2 of the constitution need to be taken up to the areas where they can be justiciable. For example, if you take away all economic responsibilities away from the situation where the public can enforce them, what do you have? You only have the people left with the bare promises of good governance from those in public offices. But where we take those aspects of the Constitution to a place whereby we can go to the court and ensure that those in public offices bring the dividends of democracy to us, hey, it's all well and good. And if you ask me, those are the areas that I think they should lay emphasis on and they should put energies on, not on those cosmetic areas that actually don't have any bearing to the problems that we are having now.
Okay, Mr. Kargbo, there you said something about the issue of security. So what do you mean by securing the security infrastructure? How do you want them to go about it? You said something about the issue of security. So what do you mean by securing the security infrastructure? How do you want I don't know if you heard me. I was saying...
Well, you see, for now, the arrangement of the security system is so that the entire security of the state is in the hands of the federal government. That puts a lot on the table of the federal government, and it makes it near impossible for you and I to participate in maintaining law and order or securing our own environments. But if we have a situation that could actually allow or create room for the participation of, say, for an example, the local government, the states in security. I'm not saying create state police, but the security system should be, and the structure of policing the state should be in such a way that the public would have a say and can participate effectively to ensure that, hey, they control their own areas and maintain peace and security within their own area. But where you have everything under the pocket of one, what would I call it, arm of the government, you make it impossible for others to participate. And without that participation, it's difficult for us to police the state. Mind you, the economic situation, the social situation of the country breeds its own problems every day. Security itself is dependent, or in itself is a product of the economic situation. The more the people are hungry, the more the people are angry with the state, the more they are tended to disrupt public order. So if you now say all of that is in the hands of the police, then it becomes very, very difficult. But I think there are some aspects of it that can be licensed out, farmed out to some localities or to some constituents of the state that would make them much more effective and purposeful.
People have also differentiated between an amendment and a review. To be interesting to get your take on what you think the National Assembly is currently undertaking. Is it an amendment or a review?
Well, when you are reviewing something, you are making a kind of an overview. You take a look at it and point out or highlight those areas that have been of challenge to you. Of course, over time, we've all had some experiences and some relationship with some aspects of the constitution that are themselves challenging. So if the National Assembly goes about making a kind of an aggregate of those areas that they felt have themselves been a challenge to the public and to those who are interpreting it, they are reviewing the Constitution and creating a platform for the amendments. Because before you amend, you must have something to sell to the people. Because like I said, the amendment must not just be constitutional, it has to be democratic. You have to take the people along because the people's consent either through their own representatives or directly, it's necessary because at the end of the day, it is the people who will bear the brunt of the Constitution. Mind you, the Constitution, unlike other laws, is very, very jealous and protective of itself. Once you've had something in black and white that is part of the Constitution, it becomes very difficult. And like people say, it becomes the standard for all other activities, including your own private activity. For an example, if the Constitution says tomorrow that the leader of the house in Nigeria is the woman, no matter how rich you are and powerful you are, the power goes to the woman. So everybody would have to adjust to that. The same thing goes to, if the Constitution says today that every Nigerian must have good education, every Nigerian must have good health, every Nigerian must have a good environment, then the government is put to work.